Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live Friday live stream where we're going to be going through some website reviews. We're going to look at some websites that were submitted prior to the stream going live. And today I'm joined by Nick. Hello, Nick.
Hello, Dale, and everyone else in the chat and tuning in today.
In fact, I'd love to know where everybody's tuning in from today. So if you can just drop the name of the lovely city or town that you're watching from, that'd be great to know. Last couple of weeks, we've had some really interesting locations cropping up. How you doing, Nick? How's your day been?
Yeah, it's going really good, thanks. It's got that Friday feeling in the air. So, yeah, it's going really good. And having a nice, quiet weekend as well. What about you, Dale? How are you doing today? Yeah.
I'm doing great. Yeah, not too bad at all. In fact, I'm just really excited to get cracking with these live reviews. We've got a couple of websites that have been submitted prior to the stream. If you're new here, this is the way it typically works. In the description, you'll see a form in which you can submit your website to be reviewed. What happens is we'll then dig into the website live on stream and see how we can increase the traffic, how we can increase sales, how we can increase leads, pretty much anything from a digital marketing point of view that we recommend in our free marketing review. If you're not aware of it, the free marketing review, you can request one via our website by going to exposureninja.com/review and fill in the details there. Tell us a little bit about your business, what it is that you're trying to achieve with your digital marketing. And then our marketing consultants, like Nick, will record a 15-minute video explaining exactly what it is that they'd like to do to your website to improve your fortunes. Cool. Before we get started, starting today, if you go to, if you want to ask a question or leave a tip or something in the comments today, if you use the hashtag ask, I'll just show you now. Here we go. If you use the hashtag ask, I'm going to pick somebody out at the end of the stream who can get a free copy of How to Get to the Top of Google, our best-selling book, and not the ebook version. I'm going to send you the paperback, or you know what? If you prefer the ebook, I can do that instead. So just use the hashtag ask with any questions that you might have, or recommendations, or just anything you want to say in the chat. And at the end of the stream, I'll pick someone. Well, actually, automatically we'll pick someone to send a book to, and then we'll talk, we'll chat, talk addresses, stuff like that, and send you a book. Cool. Right, Nick. First website is the Novelry.
The Novelry, indeed. So, yes, I guess just as a bit of an overview into this site, well, as we can see straight away from the clear benefits positioning statement, which is good to see, it's creative writing courses online. And my first initial thoughts from this site, I'm seeing a lot of good things, which are looking good. But I'm seeing a few things which I'm not too keen on as well. And actually, there's a little bit of a user experience issue, which I'm seeing as well. Before we specifically dive into that, though, Dale, I have a question for you.
Go for it.
What is your thoughts on using videos for featured images?
For hero images?
Yes.
That's going to be a big X from me, but it's very dependent on a couple of things. So the reason it's a big X is that there's a lot of bandwidth that needs to be used up there. Basically, you've got to hope that it works as soon as people come onto the page, things like that. Like not everybody has exactly the same broadband connection that the developer may have or you may have. So it might be like that. You might see that it's just this loading thing. It's, not good. It's better just to have one image, but I'm sure, Nick, you've got more to suggest when it comes to hero images.
Well, so that would be my recommendation as well. And for a few different reasons as well. I think if it can really detract from the most important thing, which the website should be, such as, getting people to go through these calls to actions or explain the business, then maybe steering a little bit clear of them might be a good route to go down. And yes, like you said, it depends on how the site's actually built, but we can see we've got a little bit of an issue here with the keep loading symbol. Yeah. So that's probably my first recommendation there. Now, another thing which I noticed as well, and one thing that's really good to see is, straight away, we've got Trustpilot reviews. So 5 stars, rated excellent. And then we're also building this up a little bit further down right here. But when I came across this site initially, I mean, if I see Trustpilot reviews, I always want to click on them because I want to go and read, have a little nosy through, maybe check out what some of those are. However, every time I click on these Trustpilot links, it's actually just redirecting me back across to the site. So really what I would like to see is actually when I click on these various different stars or this symbol right here, it's going to actually pop up the window and take me across to the Trustpilot account so I can read them firsthand as well. So that was one sort of user experience issue I noticed, but it could be me being a little bit finicky as well. So yeah, moving through as well. So the site itself, I mean, we've got a nice clear header, which is good to see. One thing to note is that, of course, it's not sticky. So this actual homepage is really long. There's a huge amount of great content on here as well. We've got some really fantastic testimonial videos. They're kind of going a little bit down influencer marketing routes as well with some of the authors. But as you just noticed, if I'm all the way down here, it's
what's going on?
It's taken a while to get all the way back up to the top here. So I think having that sticky header is going to be super, super useful just to really help with like the user experience and site navigation. And, these are some great selling points as well. So, you've got inspirational courses, worldwide, 5-star reviews. I'd also recommend making sure that they're in that e-commerce benefits bar at the top. So that's moving down with this sticky header, because, if we're scrolling down and we can reference that, well, it's great. It's just going to make sure we've got those key points at the forefront of my mind, wherever I am on the site, really.
Yeah, so, absolutely. I guess one of the slightly tricky areas to this website is it like a lead gen site where you're trying to get people registered for a course, or is it an e-com where people can just buy a course and get going? So I would guess from a design point of view, you've got to hit somewhere in between the two.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. And to add to the confusion, we've actually got 2 different routes. We can either get in touch, or actually we can funnel and actually buy the courses as well. So if we actually just click on that call to action, I mean, it's saying, how can we help? Name, nice and easy and simple. But based on what I can see from the rest of the site and the fact that, we're actually trying to sell these courses, and we've got a lot of different sort of options in the plan section, I'm wondering whether that's the best call to action to have on the homepage. I mean, the question I'd have to the business owner or to whoever submitted this site would be to kind of look and understand what routes people are taking to purchase these products. Is it the sort of process in which they do want to get in contact first, and then maybe having the call to action of getting in contact would work well. However, if you are funneling people into actually buying all the time and they don't need to get in contact first, then again, maybe actually looking and changing this call to action to be a bit more sales orientated, getting people across to the pages. I think that would be my recommendation.
Yeah, somebody on LinkedIn has just been asking, and thank you for the stream, for watching this via LinkedIn. You can watch the stream every week via Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. They're asking, do you think that Get in Touch is too generic a CTA? And I think you've nailed that, the answer to that already. It really can be, even for any kind of website. Get in Touch, it's not thought provoking or action provoking. It's a bit timid.
Yeah, it doesn't really make me want to get in touch. It's
one thing I see in the marketing review videos that you do and the rest of our marketing consultants do is always trying to say, trying to offer something for that first point of contact. Get in touch. Okay, I have to feel like I want to in the first place. Whereas if you offer something else that's stronger, like a free consultation, or if anybody watching these live streams regularly will see me often talk about like downloadables and offering something that people can download, like a free guide or something like that kind of helps them understand what they should be looking for in a course, or how other successful creative writers have been successful. 10 tips from 10 successful creative writers might be a better proposition than just get in touch.
No, absolutely. Yeah, hit the nail on the head there, Daryl. Dale, sorry. I'm not sure I called you Daryl.
Dale, either or.
So I was taking another look through the site, and a few things from an e-commerce functionality perspective. So I think it's quite good that we got a breakdown of the various different prices. I would also err on the side of caution that we're not maybe going into enough detail for these individual specific actual products. And again, it's quite a high ticket product for some of these options, and really maybe even funneling people to a bit more of a specific landing page, just specifically focusing on that level of like the investment. I think that could be quite good as well, because it is a high ticket product, and it might be a little bit more of a drawn out, more sales process essentially. Would you agree with that, Dale?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that level of ticket price is more expensive than like my last holiday abroad. And my last holiday abroad, I would have read a hell of a lot more information than I'm seeing there. I do want just like a long brochure essentially of this is why this course is for you, this is what you're going to get, and here are 25 reasons why choosing anybody else is a mistake. I just want to pick up on one comment from somebody. They were asking, what is the video impact of SEO? Is there a negative impact on videos? To answer that, it doesn't really. I would say that for the top of the page, it has maybe slight speed, can create speed issues, but I would expect that Google kind of understands that that's how the video is being used, and it's not going to have that much of a negative effect. It's more of that user experience. It can slow the page down. In fact, video can be hugely beneficial to SEO. It can help regular kind of pages to perform better because they're just offering information in a more accessible way. So a well-performing blog post nowadays can have not just the copy but also a video included that explains a part of the process or part of the blog post or the entire thing, or you can have an audio recording or something like that. So I would actually go the other way, that videos are a huge benefit to SEO, but more importantly they're a huge benefit from a user experience, customer service, sales journey point of view.
Absolutely. If there's a way in which you can kind of increase the engagement rates as well, like using them in blog posts or content, then that's going to be really impactful. And actually, that really nicely flows into the next point, which I was going to make, which is really great. So if we take a look at some of these blogs, well, let's just click on this one. Actually, no, I was looking at the creative writing ones. Let's go back a few pages and go to blogs and creative writing tips. Now, I think we might have discussed this, or maybe you did with someone else a few webinars ago. But it's kind of the idea of making sure that if you're writing SEO optimized content and it's ranking Google and you're getting traffic to those sites, that you're going to get people in at that sort of stage of the funnel. So you're going to get them into your marketing journey, and then you can hit them with email marketing further down the line. And one thing which I always don't see in reviews is people really using blog content effectively with calls to actions on them. So as we can see, this is a really good topic to actually write for this particular niche, because people who are looking for writing courses are probably going to be searching, well, where do I start? It's a big topic, isn't it? And really, it's not until we get down to the bottom that we actually have get started or book in a year program. And to shamelessly plug our website, what we do actually have, of course,
absolutely, John,
as you can see, is wherever we go on the site, we've always got get weekly marketing tips, which is that great way of just asking for it's a handshake before asking someone to marry you, and it's really just a good way of getting them into the email marketing system, I guess. And I would really recommend if you are going to invest the time, energy, and resources in creating good blog content, to make sure that it's utilizing it effectively to get people into your sales funnel, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say, I was just about to link up another page if I can, so I'm just going to share my screen. So sure. Just here we go. So here is one of our most successful blog posts, which is about what is digital PR. Let's get rid of that cookie. So as Nick said, on the right-hand side, you've got that get weekly tips, call to action, and that's something if you're not signed up already, there's a constant flow of useful digital marketing tips, as well as our notifications about our latest videos on YouTube, our podcast recordings, which go out weekly. There's also this live stream as well, so you get notifications about when these are coming up. And now we're doing every other week is a live website review. The other weeks, and now we're doing a deep dive into how to use paid social was last week, how to earn B2B leads using content marketing was a fortnight before. So yeah, that's call to action is there. But then you've got in the middle of the actual post itself, so before you even get to the very bottom, which is where a lot of blog posts typically have their call to action, you have something like this, which is a checklist that's free to download. You don't wait till the very end to pitch what it is you're offering, because to be honest with you, a lot of the time, a lot of people are not getting all the way to the bottom of your blog post. They're reading 25%, 50%, 75% and getting out of there. So you have to take your opportunity to hook them into your call to action, whatever that may be, way earlier. And, pitch whatever it is you're giving for free. Maybe a PDF guide in this instance, or it could be a free consultation. to be honest with you, I'm sure Nick would agree that it's actually better to chop and change, to actually choose your call to action based on the content, based on the search intent.
Yes, I would definitely agree with that. Yeah, like if, yeah, for example, if you're writing blog posts, which are again more centered towards, say, for example, one was about website development or conversion rate optimization, then, you know, making sure that the call to action within there was something related to get some website tips on how to make your website convert by subscribing and joining. So yeah, testing with those things can also be really useful. So, I mean, a big thing, making sure you've always got Google Analytics and conversion tracking set up so you can see that. That's another thing I don't see very often. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the key points I noticed on this site. Were there any other pages you wanted to dive into? If we can scroll all the way back up to the top, that sticky header would really help.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely needs to be one of the first things I would implement. Nothing specifically, but now I'm aware that we've got quite a few sites to get through, so it's maybe a good period to move on to the next website, which I think you already have set up.
Absolutely.
Unless there's something else you want to cover. Sorry, Nick.
No, I think that's probably good from a Crow perspective for that one. So let's jump into this site so we can see it. Everything's working well. We've actually got another video with this one. And so Feature Media, they are, how do I summarize this quickly? Well, actually, we can, because we have some good text down here. But again, we need to make sure that we've actually got that text in the above the fold space so I don't have to scroll around to find it. But Feature Media, so a video production, animation, and virtual reality partner in Leeds. And so this is essentially a lead generation site. From what I actually did find on there, there wasn't really any e-commerce functionality. So really what we want to be seeing straight away is, again, that benefits positioning statement text. So just explaining that without having to scroll around and find it. But then we also need to funnel people into getting in contact with the business. And so from that perspective, it would, of course, be a lead generation contact form over here on the right-hand side of the screen. And that is a big thing, which I would say to definitely get sorted straight away, because I'm not really seeing like where's that next part to go in the process. Is there anything that's just jumping out at you, screaming at you, Dale?
Yeah, I'm just a bit overwhelmed by the video, to be honest with you. Like I get the reason why, and this is quite common with creative services, with design agencies, web design agencies, you name it. They are quite flashy, understandably so, because you're trying to impress your potential clients. But I'm just a little bit overwhelmed, and there are other ways in which you can convince people that you're the right agency to go to, and that can be lower down after this above the fold area. It comes down to your call to action as well. It may be that the best thing to offer is, the best thing to link through from the very top there is, hey, this is we're feature media and we do this, and use this button to look at our case studies or look at our show reels and get all of that information right at the top of the page. That's the first thing that people see.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, in some ways, I guess having the video content is important for this site, because you are trying to sell video services. So yeah, having those case studies is going to be really important. And we've got quite a good layout, I guess, for this. I mean, it's in the above the fold space. I kind of would assume if I was to click on these, it would give me a bit more of an option. It's just taking me straight across to YouTube, which is interesting. One thing which I did know about this site as well, and I've never really understood this on sites, why go for the sort of low level opacity for the header bars? Because it's not like you're going to read the content behind it. And it makes it harder to see these various different sectors, these various different sections as well.
Don't get me wrong, big fan of minimalist stuff, minimalism in general. But yeah, I mean, that could just be a white bar and make things a lot easier. If you're trying to keep your branding simple, it doesn't mean you can't just have a white main menu instead. Somebody just asked a question which related to the last website, which is, would you say offering something free that relates to each blog post in question? So basically, do we want to tailor it to each blog post? That depends on your resources, to be honest with you. If you've got the time to create something for each blog post that you do, and I don't know, you may be able to pump out a couple of different blog posts per week. It might be one per month. If you add a downloadable onto that as well, that can be a fair bit of lengthy time, because there's the writing element to it, there's the creative side of designing it, putting it into whatever design software that you're using. Creating one per blog post can be quite time consuming. So if you have the resources, I would suggest doing so, because that's people are more likely to be invested in something that relates to the piece that they're reading. However, if time is a factor, you can offer something that is universal across a category. So, for example, in our case, creating a downloadable, like a free guide about how to do content marketing would be useful across all of our content marketing blog posts. So whether that's how to pitch to publishers, how to do your keyword research for blog post creation, stuff like that. Something that can be used across multiple things is a better time investment until you're at a point where you can create multiple pieces, or singular pieces per piece of content you publish.
Yeah, I think it does come down to that age-old question of resources, doesn't it? And again, testing with these things as well. Maybe test with a few to begin with, see what sort of results and sort of traction you can get, but by all means don't go through and create hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and then wait to see what happens. Start up small.
And that's what we've done for our own website. We looked at the analytics for across an entire period of time, like a year or 2 years, 3 years, see which blog posts are performing the best, and decide, okay, we've got this much time to create stuff. Let's create something for the top 3 or top 5 best performing pieces for organic traffic from search or social traffic or referral, depending on where it's coming from, and decide, right, okay, let's publish those, see which ones do well. Was it a success? Okay, we won't create it for this category anymore. We'll only create it for this one. Or they didn't perform at all. Let's not do downloadables. It's much easier to do it across 3 or 4 pieces rather than 100, 200, which is our case, where we have hundreds and hundreds of blogs. Before we do continue, if you learned something today, please do hit like. It really helps to promote this video and get it up the rankings and stuff like that. So that'd be really, really useful. If you're new here, you've not actually seen the live stream before, do hit subscribe. So you'll not only be notified about future live streams every Friday, but you'll also be notified about our videos, which are recorded by Tim Cameron Kitchen, best-selling author of the book, How to Get to the Top of Google, which you can get a copy of. If I can open up my thing. Here we go. You can get a copy of this, How to Get to the Top of Google, the best-selling book, by using the hashtag ask inside of your comments and wherever you're watching the stream from. And I'll pick somebody at the end and I'll send you a copy of the book completely for free.
What a great offer. Should throw in one of those Exposure Ninja t-shirts as well, Dale.
I know. Mine's massive. So when I got mine, it was at a summer party a couple of years ago. I was way bigger than I am now. So here's our little ninja Shinobi, but now it sits all the way down here because that's not so big anymore.
I need one of those. I don't have one. I've got the mug though, so that's a good start. So I want to dive into some. Hey, cheers.
Cheers to you, Nick.
I want to dive into some SEO on this site as well, using, and it's not too new anymore, is it? But SE ranking, which some people might not be familiar with if they're tuning in for the first time. Anyway, I digress. I want to just quickly, though, talk about subpages and a really important thing which I would recommend for any sort of lead generation based site. And again, I don't see this that frequently in some sites I do reviews for. But again, based on the recommendations which are made for the homepage, so making sure that it's got the benefits positioning statement, it's got the lead generation contact form, it's really, really clear exactly what I know to do next and what the business is about. We want to make sure that we're optimizing sub-pages of the site, especially service pages, in that sort of manner as well. The reality is, for example, if you're running paid advertising campaigns to maybe some of these service pages, well, you need to make sure that they're designed to convert as well. And, we've got a few relatively good things here. We do have a call to action in the above the fold. I would say it does get a little bit lost over here with this kind of like wall of text. So again, just making it a little bit simpler, making sure we can see the really clear routes to get in contact. And yeah, maybe even add a little bit of credibility to these as well with some form of reviews. If you have any reviews on third-party platforms, for example, like Google My Business, it'd be great to include above the fold as well. What do you see on this page? Do you see anything else screaming out at you, Dale?
I mean, it's just not enough for me. Like with a service page, I want all of my questions answered. So that's typically, if you go to our own service pages, you'll see they're quite in depth, and your own service pages don't have to be in depth, but ours are. I don't know, just because I like to write. I don't know, maybe it's because of that. But I know that our audience, our target market, have a lot of questions about the services that we offer. A lot of questions about what content marketing is, how it works, what's involved with working with Exposure Ninja. So we try and answer as many of those questions on the page as possible, because it just makes it easier for people to understand. Okay, this is definitely what I'm looking for. This is definitely the agency for me, or the company for me. So you're looking through ours as an explanation about the services that we do. So e-commerce, SEO is one of the specialities. We do quite well there. It's in-depth content, tells you exactly what who we are, what our values are, that we're trustworthy, transparent e-commerce agency. You can see our case studies as well to see, like, okay, this is our service, but what's the result of doing it? There's no point in telling everybody about something if you can't show them what the ROI is. And we go into detail about how that service is split out. So there's auditing, there's the research stage, whether that's with competitors, industry, or keywords, and it continues down there. Your service pages don't have to be so long, and you'll see there call to action before we even get to the bottom. There's a nice question or free review there, plus testimonials, all of that kind of information that your target audience might have in the back of their mind, or be thinking about. They're probably full of questions about how your services work. So just try and answer them on the page. And even if that means just adding an FAQ to the very bottom of the page as well, that can be really useful for just kind of moving a lead from being cold to lukewarm or hot. So yeah, you don't have to match our service pages exactly. You should create them for your audience, and you should, look back at the leads and the clients you already have and think about the questions they asked you at the very beginning, and then turn those into answers on your website, how you format that page.
No, absolutely. I think we might be seeing some duplicates of our service pages over the next few weeks, maybe.
Yeah. That's all good. Please do go away and just, not word for word, but go away and copy the service pages. I'm totally fine with that.
So, I want to dive into a little bit of SEO for this site as well, because one of the main things which they highlighted was we want to get some traffic back to the site. And again, first things first, make sure you're working through and optimizing the site. So when the traffic does start coming, it's going to give you a better chance of converting as well. So overall, if you haven't seen this tool before, it's SE ranking. I'm sure you've probably seen Semrush or something similar, so it should make a lot of sense. But just as an overview, we've got organic traffic, the timeline of the traffic, coming back to the site via organic. And the main thing which I really want to look at are the keywords which the site is ranking for, because this is something I do really frequently in reviews, just to get a bit of a clear idea into how well optimized the website is, what the sort of key drivers are for the keywords and traffic to the site. And we can see a few different things based on this information. What's your take at a first glance, Dale?
Do you know what? I was actually looking at the comments. I was looking at some of the questions. I was really interested to see what people had to say about the website we're looking at. Why was there something in particular you wanted to point out?
I'm seeing two things here. So we've got video marketing leads, and this is actually, of course, a leads-based business, which is good. So we're ranking in position 4 for that. That's an average search volume of 50 per month. So that's a good position to be in. But I'd also say there's a huge amount of potential here as well, where this site is ranking on, position 10 for the keyword video production company leads video agency. So I'd kind of say that this site in some ways might be on a cusp of really getting some more high quality leads back into the business as well, by just investing a little bit harder into their current SEO campaign. So seeing a lot of just exciting keywords here, which would be ones to go after in the longer term.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's actually great. Sorry, now that I'm not looking at the comment section. There's some great keywords. I mean, like video marketing leads or video agency is huge. I mean, there's got to be some great traffic coming from those. I mean, look, I can only guess that there should be. And if there are, it'd be pretty sad if that traffic's coming through to that page and then bouncing off because there's not a clear and obvious call to action available, or it's not immediately available as soon as they land on the page. They have to search around for it by scrolling down, and basically scrolling down is the enemy. Like, you don't want people scrolling down before they've taken some form of action. I mean, they're going to, but But yeah, there's definitely some huge lead opportunities there with just fine tuning those pages.
Absolutely, and just as with how specific some of these keywords are as well, like I think it's fair to say someone typing in video production companies leads is we know exactly what they're looking for.
Absolutely. I mean, like
So,
most of the people watching will know about the sales funnel. There's the top of the funnel. There's the bottom of the funnel. The top of the funnel, people are going to be thinking like, okay, what are some uses of video that I can have for my business? So they probably have some very specific needs. I need a promotional video for my company because we're releasing a new product. So how to promote a new product might be an early stage, top of the funnel query they have. And then when they've figured out, yeah, definitely want a video for my new, I don't know, I was watching a video about the promotion of a new supersonic jet by a company called Boom just last night. They hired a company presumably to do that for them. When they're ready to do that, they're going to be searching for video production company in Denver or wherever it is that they're based. That's perfect. But if you're ranking for that, and they've got nothing to convert with, or it's not easy to convert, there's almost no point ranking there at all. People might even bounce back and go to the second result, the third result, the fourth result.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we can actually see as well that been losing a couple of spots recently for a few of these different keywords as well. So, it could be, super competitive industry, a super competitive space, or again, it could be things such as the website just isn't performing well in the eyes of Google. So all things to take into consideration.
Yeah. In fact, there's been an algorithm update that just started yesterday. So Google does these broad core updates, which I'm sure you know all about, Nick. They're updating the algorithm quite a bit. So you will see that your website is probably fluctuating a little bit at the moment. Maybe you've got some keywords that have historically done well are going to be dipping down a little bit. Don't panic too much. Always best to kind of wait and see if that settles. Sometimes they roll back stuff, so don't panic too much. But if you do have any concerns about your website's ranking or loss of organic traffic, I would suggest requesting a free marketing review using the link above. Go to exposureninja.com/review, and you'll be able to request a review of your website, and we'll have a look to see if there's anything in there that is immediately obvious with your ranking that needs to be changed. Is just a page under optimized? Is there a problem with backlinks? All that information we can kind of dig out in our marketing review videos, which if you're lucky, you get one from Nick.
If you're lucky. Cool. So for driving traffic to the site again as well, I guess the last comment on it really as well, doesn't look like any any ads are being run at this moment in time. So yes, maybe even testing with paid ads if you don't have the capacity, knowledge, or resources or budgets to really get started with SEO. Then making sure that first the website's really well optimized, and then actually just testing with some paid ads as well. And if you're really going for sort of a more localized level as national, then it can help with the budgets and the overall targeting as well. And where did the keyword go? Search term, there it is. And we can see that quite a few are actually bidding to be at the top spot, which is always a good sign, but it does show its competition as well. So make sure you're testing and you've got conversion tracking set up so you know what's going on with those keywords.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just look at some of those. Is it the second one after the ad, which is, it says homepage, Motley Productions. I mean, that's terrible SEO. If your website is ranking second and your SEO is that bad, I mean, like the page style is that bad. Maybe the SEO isn't terrible, but the page style is that bad. A well-optimized website should be able to outperform those easily. And if your page style is better, you'll earn the click way more likely than they will.
I just wanted to do the test as you brought that up. Do we have home page in the title? We do not, which is good. It's optimized for leads as well. So localized search term, video animation and VR production. We've got the brand name second as well. So that's what we'd like to see, I guess.
Positive.
No homepage or yeah, absolutely.
That's positive.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Should we move on to another site?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get some first impressions from this next site. I don't know if you want to close some of those so your bandwidth will be saved a bit. I'd like to guess some. Oh, where are we? Hello.
I'm still.
I think you're just lagging a little bit because there's so much video stuff going on in the other site.
It'll be a Screaming Frog as well, just taking up loads of that. So yes, let's close some of these down.
Yeah.
And, let's stop that.
Whilst
fantastic.
Whilst you're doing that, yeah, let's get some yeses and some nos into the chat. If you think this website, first impressions, if it's well optimized for leads or not. Yes, it is well optimized for lead generation. No, it's not well optimized for lead generation. We'll let those tick in. And just a reminder, if you are asking a question today, you can just use #ask, and at the very end of the stream, I will do a live draw, and you can get a copy of How to Get to the Top of Google, and I'll post it directly to your house, your casa, wherever it is that you decide to sleep at night. Cool. Nothing going for it at the moment, so let's just have a look at this site. First impressions, Nick, for yourself.
First impressions. I'm a little bit torn with this site. So it's got some good things which we like to see. I think it's more from a design aesthetic I'm not the biggest fan of. But again, does the site convert? Does it have a good conversion rate? That's really the most important thing. So it'd be really interesting to actually know what the conversion rate of this site was. The first impressions, you know exactly what it is they do. Specialty metals and fiberglass in stock nationwide. One thing, it'd be good to get your thoughts on this. So I already know this is a US-based site, and I also know it's generating traffic within the UK. Do you think it would be worthwhile specifying that on the site?
Ooh, tricky. Yeah, maybe just because there are quite a lot of complications when it comes to trying to sell overseas. That's a really, really good question. I would have, to be honest, personally, I'd really need to know a lot more about their audience, their client base, stuff like that. But it may be worthwhile being more specific.
That was my thoughts as well. Okay, so yeah, I've got a few interesting things I want to point out with the site, but as a really just quick fire Crow recommendations, again, making sure that when the header actually moves down, we're not using hamburger icon. Looks actually kind of just like it's joined on the logo there, and that's the first time I saw it.
Yeah, it does.
I just thought that they didn't include that. So first time I saw that. And yeah, just making sure that we can always keep the navigation going. What other ones do I have? Maybe potentially an e-commerce benefits bar as well. It seems like this company has quite a lot of history. There's a really cool story actually, which I ended up spending the time reading. And, I won't go into it, but it got me hooked in.
I'm curious now.
Yeah, I definitely recommend checking it out. As a preface, a war hero from World War II, and then started the company. It's interesting. I recommend checking it out. But yeah, so there's quite a lot of e-commerce functionality on this site, which is good. But because it's quite technical products, I guess from a purchasing perspective, there's a few things which would be good to get your opinions on. So there's a lot going on here, isn't there?
Yes.
That's a product page. There's a lot going on here, but I'm trying to understand, would there be a way to simplify this further based on the various different bits of information? Because we need to go through a lot of these processes if we're ordering specifically like, to a set size. But I think maybe there could be a way to reorder this slightly in a bit more of a visually appealing manner. What's your thoughts, Dale?
Yeah, it's a really tricky one. So I've worked with a couple of technical clients like this in the past, and it can be a little tricky to know exactly what it is that people want to know beforehand, because sometimes there's a lot of presumed knowledge going into this. So like the people ordering this kind of material are more than likely going to know exactly what it is they want. They're not going to just stumble upon McNichols, by accident. But you can make the process easier for them. Like typically with e-commerce, you and I would recommend way bigger photos, multiple angles, videos, stuff like that. I'm not entirely sure that's the way to go here. However, I might do, or to give more specific. So the images wouldn't be like multiple angles of this particular thing, but it might be technical specs, might be the other images that I put there. So you've got like a 360 there, which is kind of interesting. Video too. I don't know if I would hide them in that way. I'd probably make it easier to. I didn't immediately see that was an option, to make it more obvious that that's a choice. Is there a video as well?
Yes, it does look. Oh, apparently not. It says there is, but no.
Okay. So yeah, I would maybe look at images, technical specs, stuff like that. It's a kind of tricky thing to do, like to make technical stock, construction materials, things like that, glamorous. But definitely there's opportunity to do so.
From a very sort of one thing which I do think would really help with the site as well, though, is definitely getting a bit more credibility to the pages. With e-commerce sites, getting reviews on here so people can see that if they made the purchase in the past, other people have had a great overall time making those purchases. That's really important. And a good tip as well, if you're kind of in the early stages of a business and you haven't got reviews for maybe all of your products, is you can actually use site-wide reviews as well. Along the top, as long as you make it really clear that it's not an actual review for that product, but it's a good way to, again, just remind people that you are there to provide them with a great product. And I'd really like to see something like that on this side as well, because again, this company's been in business for years. I'm sure they got loads of great reviews.
Got like 60, 70, 80 years worth of reviews they can dig into. But as you say, it's kind of difficult to kind of email your email the people you're selling to and say, oh, can you write a review about my perforated metal designer perforated classic 2058 carbon steel cold? But people just aren't, not going to be particularly driven to write about a specific product, but you might be able to get them to write about your company or the experience of buying from you and having things shipped, or stuff like that. So you can use those site-wide reviews instead, have them in a USP bar that runs across it. Like, information about deliveries is not clear to me. It's not immediately clear to me what a delivery process is. So like on the USP bar, it could be very specific about delivery times or delivery cost and things like that. And well, here we go. Nick's already prepped.
It's a great example. It's Appliance Online is great for that sort of including all the information, isn't it? Site-wide credibility, next day delivery, 7 days, pay with AO finance, 300-day returns, price match promise. What more do you want when you're going to go buy your next washing machine or something like that?
I thought you were going to say my next perforated metal sheeting.
Yeah. So another thing which I thought was interesting about the site is you can go through the process and you can add as many as you want. Let's just add 10. It's a little bit janky, this process. I think it could be a little bit streamlined better.
But then if top down rather than left to right.
Yeah, absolutely. But when we get to this page, I still don't have any indication of the actual price. And then I have to go through the whole quoting process. And then through that process as well, then I have to go make an account. Now, if you can't make a purchase straight away and you do need to get people through the quoting process, and that it does make sense. But it'd be interesting to know if there is a way in which you can streamline this to make it so maybe they don't have to get a quote, essentially. Because my assumption would be that a lot of people would jump off at that stage if they have to go through too many steps just to find out what the price is. And, if someone's looking for that instantaneous sort of price or delivery, they need it like the next day, that could really turn quite a lot of people off. Would you agree with that, Dale?
To a point. So like I've worked with technical clients like this. I've worked with technical products, but also with the US sites as well. Like I know that sometimes they can have two parts of the website. So one is like with VAT, that kind of taxes included, and for the reason they might have chosen this may be state specific. So to do with like pricing in their state, might be something like that. It might be a little bit more involved there. However, it doesn't mean that we can't streamline the process or make the information slightly more available by having stuff like prices from or a range so people know, okay, at least I know I'm in this ballpark, even if I can't get the specific pricing for that product. And also, it can be very confusing when the website is both add to cart and request a quote. I can see why they have done so. So I worked with another client and they took that approach, and it just made it easier for people to just, okay, I can send all of these objects. I can get a price for all of these together. But it may be a case that they need to do some A/B testing and see what works best. Maybe they do make it full e-commerce, and the people can then add to cart and actually organize delivery straight away, or they make it more clear that it's a quote. So change the button from add to cart to add to quote. Some little changes like that.
Yeah, just making sure it flows very seamlessly, I guess, is the point trying to make. With this site as well, it's it's generating a pretty decent amount of traffic, I guess, in relative terms. So, and actually, what do you think about this, Dale? From March 2021 to May 2021, that is a big jump, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty optimistic. I'm just looking at, let's just make this big full screen so I'm going to see this a bit more. So it looks like they were hit by the Medic update, which was in August of 2018. So it looks like they had took a bit of a dent after that, and they've had a long road to restoration since then. It's not uncommon for websites once they've had a big a big ranking drop to then see it return in the next broad core update. So for those who are not aware, August 2018, there was a broad core update or a big update called the Medic update, which affected like the health sectors to the majority, for the most part. It can sometimes return on the next big update, and sometimes might not until the second big update or the third big update. It looks like maybe they might be starting to pick up a bit of a big update return. It's kind of hard to say. It could just be that they've started to work really hard on their SEO in the last couple of months, and things have started to take off again. But yeah, that's just really positive. I know that they've been their reason for requesting today to be reviewed was that they are looking for more traffic. So it's good to see that there's some more coming there. But I definitely think we could help them get even more than that. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, and especially for just big e-commerce sites with, I guess, hundreds of different products. It's it's an interesting one to say the least. And from the traffic perspective as well, it's really good to see that they are running quite a lot of paid ads throughout the Google Ads network. Again, this is just all actually within the United States. Doesn't look like there's any going on in the UK or abroad. Really wide range of various different keywords as well, it looks like. Some very interesting ones. All pretty much like product category or product specific product related, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean that's huge. We've got some really header search terms. So it's like saying t-shirts or trainers or something like that. Metal gratings is the very top. It's not. It's short tail. It's before you start adding in all of the other things like metal gratings for X reason or for X usage. So that's great. They're getting first positions for all of those. But I'd be curious how they're getting traffic elsewhere for people who aren't quite ready to make that purchase. Like, I wonder if it's great that they're ranking first for those, but they're also thinking about the people who aren't yet ready for that conversion, who aren't ready to pick McNichols. They're still thinking, okay, I have to order all of this sheeting or something for a project I have in like a year from now. I'm starting to do the research for it. Which company am I going to pick? What things do I need to know for construction legislation in Texas? Then that information you might be able to provide on your website and get those people invested in the idea that, oh, McNichols really know what they're talking about. I should use them when the time comes to make my my big order.
Yeah, absolutely. I was trying to just have a look to see if there was a knowledge base on this site. Do you think something like that could work quite well in this particular niche?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the people who are ordering these products are probably going to come across like regular problems or similar problems sometimes that occur in different industries. So it might be possible to offer that. What we would call a knowledge base or a help center or a content hub is my preferred phrase at the moment, where it's just nothing but informational content, of like useful content, people stuff that helps to educate people about and solve their problems, but also start to think about, okay, what's my next step? All right, I need to do this. Oh, when I get the products, I need to go with this person. So that top of funnel content, a content hub might be great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It does look like we do have some content on the site, but it's all very related specifically, it looks like, to like just their products. So I guess that's really only going to have people who might know about them. But yeah, so we do have a little bit of a kind of knowledge base here, which is good to see. So quite a few different angles to go around, I guess.
Yeah.
And because
do you want to just click on that first one, that perforated metal? I'd be curious to see how that content looks.
Oh
dear, toddlers up.
So
yeah, not ideal, is it?
Not really too much going on, and I guess all of these are more external links as well, taking you across to PDFs, which will be a bit trickier, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it will, but it doesn't mean that a dry subject, like a technical subject, can't be made to be interesting. It's all about understanding the audience, and that's the real reason that we do so much of the research earlier on in our campaigns, is to understand just exactly what it is that the target audience want, what they would find most helpful. Like, they might want that information, might want downloadables like PDFs and technical specifications, but is there more that we can be doing to help them? So, for example, rather than just dropping a whole bunch of external links, make it one long blog post or guide that's quite detailed. You can also have, like, this is something I did with a software company, was to have an explainer guide, but then have a video at the very top of it, which had somebody in that company explaining exactly, these are the things you need to consider. These are the things you need to think about and make a list of, and these are the legislations you need to be aware of. Here are the standards you need to follow. You can make it really interesting and get people really invested in understanding it, well, invested in your company, but really understanding that you are the best company when it comes to this information. So you almost end up turning this part of your website into an education center, like a university, on like how to do your job really, really well, but also get the best out of these products too, and realize that, you know, they're McNichols are a fantastic partner. They're not just a vendor.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a really good way of just highlighting how it can really just provide that great resource to people, but then also actually increasing traffic and sales by providing that really value-led content in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you think about like how when they capture somebody into the sales process, they're probably not, they're getting their best business through retention, that they want to have people for long periods of time. They're not just purchasing stock for a one-off project. They're hoping to get people caught up in their sales process for 5 years, 10 years, long periods of long partnerships, and just putting that real strong investment in how you capture people in the very beginning is part of how successful retention is achieved, by just establishing you really are the geniuses when it comes to specialty metals and fiberglass. Before we've got like about 8 minutes left. Before we go into our last website, we'll very quickly just crack onto that, I think. But before we do, if you learned something today, do please hit like. It really helps to elevate this video and have more businesses see, and we want to help as many businesses as possible. If you're new here, do hit subscribe as well, so you get notified again about our future streams that we do. And if you want to have an opportunity to win a free copy of How to Get to the Top of Google, this very book here, I'll send you a paperback or a PDF copy, whichever you prefer, just by using the hashtag ask in the comments in the chat, in the live chat, and I'll pick somebody else. I'll pick somebody at the very end of the stream. Right, Nick, last website, if we've got time, is Integrum Services.
Integrum,
that one.
Well, that would be my first question, but yes. So this is local pest control services in London, and quickly, I just want to talk about a few things which I really think this website is doing well, and then also I want to dive into some exciting things for SEO. So we've got a really, I'd say, a pretty well optimized layout for this actual site. And one thing which I really like is this quick price process here. So you go through and you say exactly what it is that you need. You type in your name, phone, email, postcode, and it's a straight call me back process. And I think, having that, and again, making sure that that's a header bar and a sticky header, and that's going to be stuck in place. So we've always got that quick price thing following us down the site. That's going to be really, really cool. What are your thoughts on that, Dale? Do you like that sort of interactive way of getting people to call you back?
Yeah, I do. I just wish it was in the middle of the page instead of at the top there. Like I could. So what I would do in this instance is I would have that appear as you scroll down, so it's not immediately there. When you land on the page, the actual above the fold section has that box there. But then, like as people scroll down, have that follow them all the time. Like they're always seeing, I need help with X and blah blah blah. So that would be a better way of doing it, in my personal opinion. Can I say expert opinion? Expert opinion, sure.
Definitely, absolutely, you can. One thing as well, which was really cool to see about this site, it sounds like I'm completely plugging their services, doesn't it? On Checker Trade, they've got a 10-star rating out of 65 reviews. So that's great. But again, not really too much of an indication of this on the website. So really just getting that into the above the fold space on the featured image section. You see it quite commonly actually on sort of trade-related websites. Companies just really kind of making a big song and dance about that. And I think it is really important, especially if you're trying to attract some of those larger, more commercial sized clients as well, as opposed to just like B2C in a sense. Really good to see the level of accreditations as well. I would probably move those a little bit higher up, just below the featured image section, so we can see those. And then again, that combined with the Checker Trade information, that's really just going to help to just make people super excited about potentially working with you. And a few other things. Where have my notes gone? It disappeared on me. So again, that's a great picture, isn't it? Maybe let's go to bird netting instead. Slightly better.
Yeah.
Again, we've got the call to action here of call us 24 hours, which is good. It might be that, of course, people would actually just rather get in contact via phone straight away, but I would still recommend for people who don't want to get in contact, might be a little bit slower process, again, going with that lead generation contact form on the right side. And because this is, again, a service page, making sure that we're still including that credibility, because as we see, if we jump across to their actual traffic, there is some really exciting opportunities, and they're actually ranking quite well from a localized area. So let's dive into this and break these down a little bit further. And so we can see that they've got quite a few keywords in those top 3 spots, which is good. They're quite low volume ones. And I was interested by this keyword as well. So solar panel bird proofing. I had no idea that was a thing.
Interesting. I've got to see it now.
It's
open it up.
Open it up. How do we do that? There we go. So apparently that's a whole part of the business.
Pigeon proofing solar panels.
Yeah, so I thought that was very interesting to see, at least. But we can see the site itself ranking for some really relevant keywords, which is great. But then if we just scroll down a little bit further and we get to this position 5 spot, it's pest control in London, which has a whopping 3,600 search volumes on a monthly basis. So it's really good to see that you're on the first page of Google with that. And I would see, again, maybe just really doubling down on your SEO efforts to move some of these really great high intent keywords up a little bit higher would be a really, really good route to send the traffic back to this pretty well optimized website, I'd like to say. Would you agree with that, I guess, quick summary, Dale?
Yeah, pretty much. I've seen a couple of different long tail keywords that top of funnel searches they seem to be ranking fairly well for. They've got like, why do pigeons nest under solar panels? How to stop birds nesting under solar panels. So that's really healthy. Yeah, that's really good for the website. That top of funnel stuff that we've heard us mention time and again throughout the live stream today, where you've got to get people kind of invested in your website as soon as possible by those informational searches. That not everybody's immediately ready to say, right, I need a pest control business. They're probably thinking before that, right, I've got a problem with this. How do I solve it for myself? And then they start to think about, right, I need to get a pest control person. The people might be Googling how to stop birds nesting under solar panels and thinking, right, I'm going to fix that this weekend. I'm going to do it for myself. And then later on, they'll appear for they'll do their searches for a pest control company near me or something like that. So you want to have what content ranking for both ends of the funnel, the early stuff and the later stuff.
Absolutely. And I guess just as sort of a closing thought as well, it doesn't look like this site is running any paid ads. It might be that SEO ranking isn't picking up display campaigns. But again, if you are driving people back across to those blog posts, well, running display remarketing campaigns across Google Ads could be really great. If you got them there in the first place, just making sure that if they bounced off the site, didn't convert that first time around, that you're just keeping yourself at the forefront of people's mind when they are looking to pull the trigger and become a customer.
Absolutely. Well, fantastic. That's us. That's an hour pretty much. So I guess the last 30 seconds or so. I'm just going to pick somebody to get the free book I was talking about at the beginning and the middle of the stream. So as again, this to get how to get to the top of Google, our best-selling paperback. I'm going to pick a draw now. So just hit this. I'm just going to do some funky dancing and pick somebody. There are only 2 people who use the hashtag today, so this should be over pretty quickly. It's only the first time we've done it, so maybe if you there we go, fantastic, right? Deepesh, I am gonna ping you a message via LinkedIn and see how I can get you a copy of the book.
Fantastic! Congratulations,
Glitter Dazzle. Yeah, fantastic. Great. Well, Nick, thank you ever so much for coming and joining the stream today. I absolutely love the knowledge that you bring, not only to the stream, but also to the marketing reviews. And talking to marketing reviews, you can get a free marketing review by going to request a marketing review up there. Look at that. exposureninja.com/review. Fill out the information there, and we'll send you a 15-minute video explaining how we'll increase your ranking, traffic, sales leads, whatever we can see that we can pull out for you, we will. And if you've enjoyed the stream today, do hit like down below, whether you're on YouTube, whether on LinkedIn or Facebook. If you're new here, hit subscribe. You get notified about future live streams as well. And Nick, if anybody wants to reach out to you, where can they do so?
You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. Just search for Nicholas Jacob, Exposure Ninja. Should be able to find me pretty easily. And if you've got any questions about digital marketing or if you want to get your website reviewed, then do feel free to drop me a message.
Fantastic. Same goes for me. You can find me, Dale Davies, on LinkedIn, or you can reach me on Twitter as Dale Davies_me. I'm happy to help out with any questions you might have. So again, thanks everyone for joining, and see you again next week.
See you in a bit. Bye.